Alright guys, John's Moto Garage, welcome back to the channel. We're trying new tricks with the Sporty 72 today. Right now I'm just warming up. I don't want to set the bar too high. That wasn't too bad.
Got to get my hat in place. Alright, que paso amigos, John's Moto Garage. As always, welcome back to the channel. Today's a very special day. Super stoked on this video because I've been itching to get out and ride this 72 for quite some time. We're going to be doing the ride review impressions on the Harley Sportster 72. Let's jump on the bike and we'll go a little bit more in depth on what I'm going to be doing and what you can expect from the video. Oh, and then of course, stay tuned to the very end if you want to see some bloopers from that wannabe front flip that I did over the bike earlier, and you'll be in for a great entertainment. Alright guys, as always, gracias for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. Hope you enjoy it. And for the OGs, as always, big shout out. Hang loose. I got this new camera set up. We'll see how it works. We're going to be doing a ride review, my impressions on the bike. I'll talk a little bit about some of my likes and dislikes on the moto. I will clear up a major blunder from my last video. I totally misspoke, but fortunately a viewer was kind enough to point out my mistake. And I'll go through my quick spiel. I do not go real in depth on these reviews. This is both basically a Joe Schmo's impression of the bike. I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional by any means, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. And as long as you agree to those terms of service, then I think we can proceed. And if you dig it, like and subscribe. Alright, let's hit it. So first and foremost, this is a 2013 Harley Sportster 72. It's an xl1200v. It's a 1200cc fuel injected, air cooled, 5-speed. And in my opinion, this is arguably one of the dopest, most classic, coolest looking Harleys. I had one before that was a flat black, but you cannot beat the metal flake candy red styling. And many people will try to tell you that this is a chick's bike. I've never really been a whole fan of like only chicks or only dudes can ride certain bikes, because I've seen chicks riding street glides, road glides, all those bikes. So if that's the standard we're using, then I guess technically like every single motorcycle is a chick's bike and every single motorcycle is a dude's bike. These are, they have a forward control, mini ape hangers, 21-inch front wheel. To your unknown, unsuspecting layperson, they would look at this bike and could very easily mistake it for a classic 70s style chopper motorcycle, because it absolutely hits that classic look, and that's exactly what Harley was going for. Go to Harley, look at what their description is of the bike, and I think they have right in there authentic classic looking, you know, retro, nostalgic Harley chopper design. Now, I've had tons of Sporties in my days, and one of my favorite things about the Sportster, especially the 1200 over the 883, is it really is just a nice, torquey, zippy little bike. And they're not super heavy. These are, the 72 is super narrow. You got the peanut tank, the classic looking peanut tank. It's bare bones. You've just got the speedometer, the ape hangers. Like, there's nothing over the top on this bike. In my opinion, these bikes are not for the long haul. They're just not built for it. Especially with these forward controls and the ape hangers. Once you hit those higher freeway speeds, you kind of act like a sail in the wind, and you're fighting a little bit with staying on the bike there. But I guarantee I'm gonna have people telling me, dude, I mobbed the Sportster cross country, and I get it. I know tons of people take their Sportsters all over the place. I'm just saying it's not built for touring. Not that it can't do it. I took my Honda Shadow 600 up to Wyoming. It pulled it off. It just wasn't a comfortable experience. But like any bike, you can set it up so it's, you know, more or less geared towards that style of riding if that's what you dig. It's crazy. It's like all the malls of America are becoming ghost towns. Dang, I've never been here before. Crayola apparently is apparently taken over. That's pretty gnarly. I wonder if they painted that whole thing using a Crayola crayon, am I right? Now, a little bit of history on the Sportster 72, and this is where my blunder comes in. I just assumed it was named after the 72 model year Sportster, but there's actually a little more history to it than that, which I think is pretty cool. So one of the viewers was kind enough to point out that it was actually named after Whittier Boulevard in California, Route 72. Whittier Boulevard in Cali is, I guess, reportedly the birthplace of the kind of Latino, Chicano style chopper motorcycles. And that really makes sense, for one, with the cool classic styling, the hard candy metal flake paint, as well as the white walls. And come on, bro stuff, get out of here. Oh, these cars are really going slow. Is that guy gonna turn? Apparently not. And maybe that's why I love the bike so much, because even though I'm like a puro güero, like puro gringo, which means I'm like the whitest of the white guy you could find, I'm like a total Latin at heart. I'm a Latin wannabe for sure. Anybody who knows me knows that I have like a huge appreciation for the culture and the community. And in another life, I think I would have been born down in Argentina. So there's a little history lesson, and gracias, shout out to the sub who pointed that out for me. I love learning cool new stuff about these bikes. So I guess we're talking about two things in this video. One, the Sportster 1200, which there's tons of reviews and videos on that. Super fun, torquey, awesome bike. I would definitely opt for that over the 883, especially if you're going to be doing more highway riding. And a beginner or an experienced rider can zip around on this thing, and both will have a fun time. And you get these at a fraction of the price of the next models up, like your Dyna and your touring bike in general. And then going back to the 72, just that classic vintage retro styling. It's old school cool. Whether you're sticking to the stock bike straight out of the factory or using it as a canvas to chop it and do something different, it's an awesome platform. And here's one of the subs actually has this same bike, and he gave me permission to use these pictures. And here's just what he did with the bike, and I thought that was one of the dopest looking 72s that I've seen personally. Check out these pics, super dope. So thanks again, dude, for letting me show those pictures, because super cool 72. The first time I ever saw a 72, like right off the bat, I thought it was just such a cool looking motorcycle, and it turns heads for sure. Big question, why might the 72 be the right bike for you, and or why maybe would it not be the right bike for you? I think it's clear the 72 is going to be the perfect bike for somebody who digs the classic motorcycle look, especially if you want that look but you don't necessarily want the headache that comes along with doing all the building and the repairs and the maintenance and all that, because you get the fuel injection, you know, the reliability of the modern motorcycle with the awesome throwback styling of the classic kind of Chicano style choppers. But what are some of the dislikes on the 72? Like I mentioned before, it really is not the most comfortable, especially for the long rides. This is your bar hopper, it's for zipping around. The 1200 is going to do much better on the freeway than your other ones. It's got the forward controls, which make total sense for the styling that they're going after. But if you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of mid controls. These ones aren't awkward though. At 5.8, it's actually a pretty good reach. A lot of people have mixed feelings about the ape hangers, and then of course the styling, the paint and all that. It's going to be you like it or you don't type paint. And I'll tell you right now, this solo seat, definitely not comfortable, even on just this short ride I've been on so far. And then another one is fuel capacity, which that's going to be any Sportster you jump on. These tanks are pretty small, so somebody put it, how did somebody put it? Get used, oh yeah, you'll be making a lot of friends at the gas station. Get it? Because you're going to be like frequently making pit stops. All right. Dang, I love these neighborhoods. This dude's got a tennis court on their side yard. That dude's got a lake in the front yard. 2 lakes in the front yard. What the heck? Murray's Lake. That dude seriously has 2 lakes in his front yard. Life goals right there, you guys. Until I have 2 lakes in my front yard, I don't think I'm really gonna feel fulfilled, you know what I mean? No, but if you're looking for, you know, a bigger touring bike or something, go with the Dyna or Road King, something along those lines. But again, one of the huge pros of the 72 and the Sportsters alike is these bikes are relatively cheap, relatively inexpensive if you're buying them on the used market. And speaking of that, on the used market, I've seen the 72 anywhere from like 5 up to 7, 8, 9,000 bucks. Sportsters in general, depending on the year, anywhere from like as low as 3,000 bucks. Even for the newer fuel injected ones, up to, you know, 8, 9, 10,000 bucks, depending if you're getting like a 48 or a Roadster. It all just depends what you're getting. Dang, these cul-de-sacs would be perfect for knee drags. The handling's actually surprisingly not awkward at all. It's pretty easy. But the way the bike sits, how the bike's kind of angled down, the A-pingers on this, if I brought them back a little bit, they'd be more comfortable. But this position, I can tell, wouldn't be super comfortable for longer rides. This bike is totally stock with the exception of the exhaust. And I want to say Bassani exhaust, but I'm not 100% sure. Sportsters, they do feel a little more solid. They feel a little more top heavy than some of your alternative metric cruisers. But I absolutely love the feel of the Sportsters over some of those metric entry-level middleweight cruisers, because it's just, it feels a little bit, you can feel the road a little bit better, you know? Alright, you guys, leave a comment below if you had to get a Sportster, any of the Sportsters. Would it be the 72? And if not, which one would you get? Personally, if it were me right now, I think I'd probably get the Sportster Roadster, because that one's pretty dope. Oh, my back is starting to hurt. Whoa, getting wobbly. Yeah, that's the one downside of having that 21-inch front wheel. If you happen to hit a rut, you gotta hold on tight. Hold on extra tight, bro. So, man, I have such a blast on these bikes. Let's go hit up a quick 0 to 60, and then I think we will call it a day. Make it easy to drag the floorboards on this. Or the foot pegs, rather. You know, I just realized I think my back's hurting, not because of sitting on this bike, but because of the few front flip wannabe attempts that I made. No wonder, bro. No wonder. All right, let's hit up a 0 to 60 on the drag strip. Woo! Oh, that's bumpy. Oh, I forgot to mention, so if you dig the Sportster 1200, the 72, the classic old school looking bikes, check out the bobbers. Those are dope bikes. The bobbers, pff, what am I talking about? Check out the Yamaha Bolt. You might be interested in the Yamaha Bolt. You may also be interested in the Triumphs. Not necessarily the same, but I always forget about the Triumphs. I had a super nice T100 Bonneville, and yeah, I'm a big fan of those. You may even venture into like the Ducati Scrambler styles. And then other bikes you may be stoked on would be the new Indian. Well, not new, but the Indian Scout Bobber, or the Scout. I rode one of those recently. What a blast. What a freaking blast. All right, guys, that's going to do it. John's Moto Garage. As always, I appreciate the support. If you dig the content, be sure to like and subscribe. And now enjoy the bloopers from my wannabe front flip over the 72. We'll hit you up on the next one. Nos vemos. Spin on that one.
That was the best one.
I think that'll do it.